What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I'm obviously out here in the woods. We got some deer keeping me company out here, and I wanted to talk about 3 ways you can go about changing the way you think about money. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos. Subscribe to my second channel for weekly videos. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. Come and join us in the VIP club for giveaways, live streams, deal alerts, and a whole lot more. You can actually watch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's videos right now if you want to. They've already been posted. And of course, make sure to go and get your 6 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. Refer 1 friend to the app by the end of the month, and they're going to give you 10 free random stocks. Refer 3 friends to the app by the end of the month, and they're going to give you all the way up to 15 free shares of Apple. Everything will be linked in the description. So today is Thursday, July 14th, 2022, as I'm posting the video. As I'm filming the video, it's actually Wednesday the 13th, and not only that, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Been up since 4 a.m. filming videos. In fact, I have another video that I have to film after this one, because I'm going to be posting 2 videos in one day. And then obviously I filmed this video in advance, or it's being filmed in advance, and I already filmed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's videos in advance, and a VIP vlog in advance, along with a couple of other videos as well. But I wanted to talk about something today. I wanted to talk about changing the way you think about money. And we're going to be talking about precious metals. We're going to be talking about really all things under the umbrella of personal finance, whether it's wealth preservation or wealth building, precious metals, stocks, real estate, you name it. It all comes down to money. Not necessarily talking about currency, although that will play a small role. And the 3 examples that I want to give, I don't think are in any particular order. I think the way that I wrote them down, they ended up in the order of importance, but there's no real order if you're viewing the video. And I understand that a lot of the things that I will be talking about in this video will probably come across as rudimentary, but if you dig a little bit deeper in, which is what we're going to be doing in this video, you'll notice a couple of things. There's a lot of psychology involved. So let's just dive into it. The first one I wanted to talk about would be not buying, but converting your dollars into the silver and the gold. And I guess in a weird way, this can also go for stocks or potentially real estate as well, but I wanted to talk about the precious metals first. Every time I go and get some silver or get some gold, and this is something that I realized, I think back in 2018, I'm not really buying the silver and the gold. That's not really what I'm doing. I don't think that's what any of us are doing. I don't think we're buying precious metals. I think we're converting our dollars into the precious metals. And the reason I say that is because once we get rid of the dollars in exchange for silver and gold, just as easily as we made that conversion in the first place, we can convert the silver and gold right back into dollars. See, I don't think it's really a purchase necessarily. I think it's a conversion kind of disguised as a purchase, which most people understand, and that's one of the reasons why I don't get why sales tax is attached to silver and gold. And that's not coming from the perspective of someone trying to be cheap. That's not someone who just wants to pay less. I understand why sales tax exists in the first place. I just personally don't understand why it's attached to the silver and gold. I think it's attached to the silver and gold as a way of disguising the conversion as a purchase, I guess, if that makes sense. But at the end of the day, I don't think we're buying it. I think we're converting our dollars into it. Just like you can convert your US dollars into Canadian dollars, You can convert your Canadian dollars into Australian dollars. You can convert your Australian dollars into euros. That's how I see the silver and gold. I think you just convert your dollars into it the same way you'd convert your dollars into anything else. It's just a conversion. It's not a purchase. And this is kind of leading us into our next topic of discussion when it comes to changing the way you think. And that would be that silver and gold, it's money, not currency. See, branching off from the first one, talking about the conversion and how it's not a purchase, at least through my eyes, I don't think you can purchase money. And that's how we're segueing into part 2. I don't think you can purchase money, and at the end of the day, silver and gold would absolutely have to be money. It's obviously not currency. Although, I hate to keep using the word disguised over here, but I guess technically, if you think about it, it can be money disguised as currency, being that it has face value attached to it. But most of us in the silver and gold stacking community, we don't really care for face value. We appreciate the fact that it's there, because that just means the piece of silver we're working with was minted by a sovereign government, which doesn't really matter too much. But it's kind of like an extra layer of security, because you can't counterfeit a coin, or you can, but you're going to run into some huge problems. You're going to get into some pretty big trouble if you do. You can counterfeit a round, you can fake a round or a bar, and it would be unethical to do that. But if you were to fake a coin, a government minted coin, not only is that unethical, it's very, very, very illegal. You cannot do that. So it's almost like an extra layer of security. But the precious metals, obviously, it's not currency. It's real, true, honest money. And this is something that I've been explaining for years and years on end. It's internationally recognized as money. No matter where you go anywhere in the world that knows what silver and gold even is. Real, true, honest money. They recognize it as money. Historically, it's been recognized as money. Biblically, it's recognized as money. Constitutionally, it's recognized as money. It's real, true, honest money. So the second way you can go about changing the way you think is by simply understanding the difference between money and currency. See, this is something that kind of smacked me in the face shortly after I started stacking the silver and gold. See, I knew at the very beginning, it's obviously not currency. It's not some fake fiat glorified IOU debt note piece of paper. It's a piece of metal. And here's the thing. Man, we got a helicopter up here. They're looking for me. They know I got the silver. I don't have any silver. All the silver I use in my videos and show off in my videos, that's just a green screen. That silver doesn't exist. That's just some high-level video editing. I don't even own silver. But anyway, the second way you can go about changing the way you think is by understanding the difference between silver and gold. And this is something that I kind of woke up to early on in the stacking journey, because it's obvious. It's not currency. We know that on day one. But do we fully understand it on day one? Probably not. I didn't. It took me a little time to really open my eyes to the fact that there's a massive difference between money and currency. You see, I didn't know. I had the basic understanding, but I didn't really fully grasp the concept that our currency is as fake as it is. See, I knew it was fake. I just didn't realize how fake it was. I didn't realize how deep it goes. I didn't realize that our paper currency was backed by gold. I didn't realize that our currency coins were made out of silver. I didn't realize that we were actually going by real money for a while. Currency backed by money, that is, or made out of money. And then all that was removed. That rug was pulled out from under us. And now we don't have currency backed by money or currency made out of money anymore. Now we have currency backed by currency, currency made out of currency. Getting ripped off over here. Nowadays, well, we've gone through a couple of different transitions. We transitioned away from currency backed by money to, one could argue, currency backed by oil. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think nowadays our currency is backed by debt. And I know that sounds like a bad thing, and half of it is, but the other half is the good kind of debt. Because there are different types of debt out there. People hear the word debt and they automatically think bad things. Like, oh no, maybe they had a bad experience with debt. Maybe there was some type of medical debt, or maybe some self-inflicted consumer debt. Maybe they bit off more than they could chew and they ended up screwing themselves over, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe they've had family members in massive amounts of debt. Regardless, debt is seen by most people as a bad thing. Debt is seen by rich people as a good thing. But when it really comes down to it, it depends on what type of debt we're talking about, because it can go either way. Debt can be a bad thing. Debt could be the greatest thing in the world, though. Debt can be fantastic to the person that you're in debt to. Go over here. See, debt is a bad thing to the person that's in debt. Debt is a good thing to the person who is owed the money or the currency. I'll give a quick example of bad debt and a quick example of good debt. Bad debt can be, like I said before, self-inflicted consumer debt. Biting off more than you can chew. Swiping that credit card. Now, I'm a big believer in credit cards, by the way. I consider myself to be somewhat of a credit nerd, if I'm going to be honest with you. I like credit cards. I have more credit cards than the average American. I make 99% of my purchases with credit cards, and that's mainly just to rake in all that cash back and sponge up as many of those credit card rewards as possible. But guess what? I have no credit card debt. I use credit cards all the time, almost every day, at least every week. And I use all of my credit cards every single month. So how do I have no debt? How do I use all these credit cards or use so much credit and have no debt? That's pretty simple. I pay each and every credit card off in full, on time, before it's even due. If you do that, you're not going to owe anything. If you do that, you're not going to have to pay interest. I've never paid interest on any of the credit cards that I currently own. And like I said, I have more credit cards than the average American. But I've never paid interest, not even a penny. The only money they make off of me would be the transaction fee, which I don't even pay. The company that's accepting my credit card is the one who pays for that. And that's built in to the total price. Whether you're paying in cash, you're still paying for that, whether you realize it or not. Companies increased how much they charge people so that they can take care of those fees, even if you're not paying with a credit card. So I'm not paying any extra for that. In fact, I'm paying less because I'm getting cash back for that. Anyway, I don't mean to go off on a tangent here. Point being is that you can use credit cards without ever going into debt or paying interest. But that could be an example of the bad kind of debt. getting in over your head, not paying it off in full, carrying a balance, and then that interest starts to build up. You know, I'm sure by now most of us know what the compound effect is. The compound effect is typically looked at as a good thing, but the compound effect can also be a bad thing. Similar to the snowball effect. You know, taking the right steps in the right direction, eventually taking you to where you want to go. Well, that's how I explain it anyway. Well, what happens if you're taking the wrong steps in the wrong direction? That can eventually take you to where you don't want to go. So that's what I would say is a good example of the bad kind of debt. The good kind of debt, however, can be, let's just say, a mortgage on a rental property. So you're borrowing money and you owe money. You're paying money over an extended period of time. You have the good kind of debt, and I call it the good kind of debt because that debt is the reason that you're generating cash flow. That debt is the reason you are earning rental income. Whether you are there at the property overseeing what's going on or not, every month you're getting that check. And that rental income is paying off the mortgage for you, little by little by little. See, that's the good kind of debt. That's how rich people see debt. That's why I said before, rich people think of debt as a good thing. Or, of course, if you lend out money to someone and every month you reach out to them and be like, hey, gonna need that payment. That payment's due. I'm adding interest. It's a good kind of debt because somebody is in debt to you. Not to say that that's, great, but financially it makes sense. Why do you think the banks do it? Because it makes sense financially. So moving out of the third way to change the way you think about money, we already talked about that we're not buying or converting our dollars into silver and gold, or I guess technically maybe you could say stocks or real estate as well. We already talked about the difference between money and currency. Let's now talk about the importance of not measuring our wealth in dollar bills, but rather troy ounces or shares or properties. So first things first, in terms of the precious metals, let's just say spot price, as I'm filming the video, spot price is between $18 and $19 right now. It's like $18.80 something. We factor in the premiums, we'll call it $22, $23. Just to keep it at a nice solid number, let's just hypothetically use the number 20. Let's just say each troy ounce of silver is about $20, just for the sake of simple math. Get 10 ounces of silver, 100 ounces of silver, 1,000 ounces of silver, and you're using that $20 an ounce mark. You get to a certain point, you look at the stack of silver, and you could, in theory, say to yourself, man, I got 20,000 ounces of silver, or I have $20,000 worth of silver. See, I'm not used to measuring it in dollars. $20,000. That'd be nice to have 20,000 ounces of silver. Good God. I have $20,000 worth of silver, or I have $2,000 worth of silver. That may be true to some degree, but what happens when you go to bed and wake up tomorrow and spot price is different? You no longer have $2,000 worth of silver. Maybe spot price went down a little bit. Maybe now you have $1,986 worth of silver. Or maybe you have a little bit more. Maybe now you have $2,080 worth of silver. See, there's one constant and there's one thing that's not constant. The one thing that is constant is how many ounces of silver are sitting there in your possession. The one thing that is not constant is that dollar bill price tag attached to it. That fluctuates. That's inconsistent, that goes up and down, that can be volatile, that could be sporadic. So if you want to measure your wealth in dollars, you're going to constantly have to change that number. But what's more important is understanding that if you measure your wealth in troy ounces, that right there is the ticket. That right there is how it's supposed to be done. You don't have X amount of dollars worth of silver. You have X amount of troy ounces of silver, or X amount of troy ounces of gold. That right there is what it's all about. And I'll give another example. In addition to the precious metals, I know investors in the stock market are vastly, vastly different, or they do things vastly, vastly differently than how we're doing things over here in the precious metal world. We're stacking coins. They're investing in small, itty-bitty pieces of some of the biggest companies in the world. Somebody over here, I don't want to put someone on camera if they don't want to be on camera. And I'm also not editing this video, so just give me one moment. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Good.
Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. People that are investing in stocks are doing things very different than those of us who are stacking silver and gold coins, rounds, and bars. Doing it for different reasons too. One way of going about it is building wealth. The other way of going about it is preserving wealth. Also, by the way, I did not expect that guy to have that accent. Caught me off guard. Anyway, there is a similarity there, even though we're doing different things for different reasons. The similarity is that most people that invest in stocks don't say that they bought or that they have, let's just say, $1,400 worth of Apple stock. That's not usually what they say. They don't word it that way. They don't even view it that way. They don't say, I have $1,400 worth of Apple stock. You want to know what they say? They say they have 10 shares of Apple, because each share is about $140, give or take. Again, that dollar bill price tag, similar to the spot price, it fluctuates. It's inconsistent. It's not constant. It's not absolute. It goes up and down. It's volatile. It moves around. But one thing remains the same. How many ounces of silver you have, how many shares of Apple you have, or how many shares of whatever you have. However many shares of Apple or Google, or even when it comes to the S&P or whatever it is that you're investing in. That's what's important. Measuring your wealth in troy ounces, not dollar bills. Measuring your wealth in how many shares you hold, as opposed to how many dollars you have invested. That's the way to go about doing things. And one of the main reasons for that is because, well, as many people in the precious metal world believe, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but a lot of people think the dollar bill is going to collapse yesterday. I personally don't believe the end of the dollar bill is near. It's just my personal belief. I don't believe it's invincible. I don't believe it will be here forever. But I don't believe it's going away anytime soon. But let's just say it does. Let's just say we wake up tomorrow and boom, no more dollar bill. It's been replaced by something else. Can't really measure what you have in those now obsolete dollar bills. At this point, you gotta measure in whatever the new type of currency is. Or, let's just say you move to another country, or you go on vacation to another country, or you're having a conversation with somebody from another country. They don't go by US dollars. They go by euros or something else. You'd have to measure it in their currency. Whether you're over there or you're talking to somebody over there, in order to help them understand, you'd have to do a conversion. You'd have to convert US dollars to whatever their currency is, just so that they understand. But you want to know how you can have a conversation without having to deal with currency conversions, or without it having to be confusing, or having to do any form of math so that you understand, or so that they understand, or so that both of you understand? If you just talk about troy ounces of silver, you don't have to worry about converting however many US dollars worth of silver you have to however many euros worth of silver you have, so somebody over there understands what's going on. You can just tell them that you have 100 ounces of silver. Because guess what? Over there in that country, whatever country it is that we're talking about, they'll understand that. There's a reason the American Silver Eagle face value is $1. Meanwhile, the Canadian Silver Maple Leaf face value is $5. The Silver Eagle, the $1 coin, that's a $1 US dollar coin. The Maple Leaf, that's a $5 Canadian dollar coin. So the face value is different, but you want to know what's the same? They're both a troy ounce of silver. The Australian kangaroo, that's a $1 Australian dollar coin. Different than Canadian dollars, different than US dollars, but guess what? It still says an ounce of silver. The Britannia, it still says an ounce of silver. The Philharmonic, it still says an ounce of silver. And other than the coins, even if we're talking about rounds and bars, ones that don't even have currency attached to them, they don't even have face value. You want to know what they still say? They still say a troy ounce of silver. Go for a sunshine bar, it says a troy ounce of silver. Go for a buffalo round, it says a troy ounce of silver. There's a reason for this. It's because you're not supposed to be measuring your wealth in dollars. You're supposed to be measuring your wealth in troy ounces of the precious metal that you're stacking, or measuring your wealth in the number of shares of whatever stock it is that you're investing in. That's how you go about doing it. Even when you talk to real estate guys. I mean, real estate's a little bit different. But when it comes to real estate, if you've ever had a conversation with somebody that has a massive real estate portfolio, sometimes to put things into perspective, they'll say things like, oh yeah, I have $5 million worth of real estate. Sure, they might put a dollar bill amount on it so you understand, but more often than not, they'll just tell you how many properties they have. Oh, I got 16 rental properties. Or I have, I don't know, 24 units. They'll measure it that way. And talking to people like us that aren't in real estate, or maybe we're in real estate on a very small level, we're not up there with the multi-millionaires. When they talk to each other, they talk about how many properties they own. They talk about how many units they have. That's how they go about doing it. They're not measuring their wealth in dollar bills. They're multi-millionaires. If they cared about the dollars, they'd be sitting on a couple $1 million in cash only. They wouldn't be trying to get rid of the dollars by putting them into properties. They wouldn't be trying to get rid of the dollars by putting it into the stock market. They wouldn't be trying to get rid of the dollars by putting it into silver and gold. If we were supposed to measure our wealth in dollar bills, we would be exclusively holding on to the dollar bills. And I'd be making videos every day talking about checking accounts and savings accounts. Wouldn't be talking about silver and gold. I wouldn't be talking about the stock market. I wouldn't be talking about real estate. I wouldn't be talking about the financial world. Measure your wealth in troy ounces. Measure your wealth in number of shares. Measure your wealth in number of properties. Stop measuring your wealth in dollar bills. I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive weekly content. Go and get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. We got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs, and a bunch of different designs. A lot of the products are helping us raise some funds and awareness for different charity organizations, by the way. DYDSS store will be linked in the description. Come and join us in the VIP club, which is where I do giveaways every single month, live streams multiple times a week, deal alerts on silver and gold almost every single day. You can watch all of my videos early and commercial free, and every Saturday morning I post a brand new vlog, and there are a ton of other perks as well. VIP club link in the description. I guarantee you the value exceeds the cost. And of course, last but certainly not least, make sure to go and get your 6 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. You can deposit any amount, even as little as a penny. It still works, it still counts, you still get your 6 free stocks. If you refer one friend to the app by the end of the month, Webull's going to give you 10 free random stocks for the referral. And you can do this 10 times, by the way. It's part of their advertising budget. Rather than wasting currency on billboards and TV commercials, they reward their users for helping them build their app with them. And if you refer just 3 friends to the app by the end of the month, Webull's going to give you not only 30 free random stocks, 10 each for the referrals, but they're also going to give you a spin on the Webull wheel, which guarantees you at least 1 free share of Apple. That is 100%. But you also have the opportunity of winning all the way up to 15 free shares of Apple. It's completely random. You get what you get and you don't get upset, but you're still walking away with at least 1 share of Apple. Not $140 worth of Apple. 1 share of Apple, at least, bare minimum. Don't pass up on an opportunity. Webull link in the description. Time is running out. If you don't want the stocks, go and get them anyway. They're free. Then just sell them. Congratulations. Now you have the cash to go and get you some silver or some gold, if that's what you want. Webull link in the description. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know once again, what are your thoughts on everything shared in today's video when it comes to changing the way you think about money? What has stacking or what has investing done for you mentally? How has it changed the way you view money? How has it helped you rewire your brain, essentially? And would you agree with me when I said that I don't think we're buying precious metals? I think we're converting our dollars into precious metals. Would you agree with me on how I explained the difference between real, true, honest money and fake fiat currency? And of course, would you agree with me when I said that we should measure our wealth in troy ounces, not dollars? Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.